Orange has got to work at 4 in the morning, so I'm not sure. He might stop by for a little bit. Fruit commentary. All right, looks like the races are off. So 100%, we're going to start in Ceres Station, as for most of the categories in this tournament. Not a whole lot going on here. You got a straight path to Ridley, where you'll see the runners take damage as quickly as possible to move on to the next portion, the escape from Ceres Station. Sloaters. It's like both runners taking quite a bit of steam there. Not the best patterns. Both runners having a very good last room there. Very close on the Ceres escape portion. I know these runners know each other personally. They talk quite a bit. Good friends outside of the game, and honestly are very close in skill, and this should be a really interesting race, hopefully. See both runners landing on Zeebs and gonna start running around and picking up all of the items. Looks like both of the runners tonight are running accurate fall speed strats. No moonfall here. So we're going to stay within about 2 seconds of each other through this first little segment. We're going to head down this elevator and pick up Morph Ball and the Awakening Missiles, which will awaken the planet, bringing out all of the bad guys. As well as opening a lot of different areas that are inaccessible without Morph Ball. Sloaters with a nice down back. Kipp with a very nice, whatever that strat might be called. It looks like we're still within about 2.5, 3 seconds of each other. It's very crisp movement here from both runners in the early game. Sloaters with a very clean room there. Looks like Sloaters is going to be on the right side climb, while Kipp will be doing the ledge grabs through the center of the room. A solid parlor from both runners. And now you see Sloaters coming in to pick up bombs, which will activate the first mini boss of the game, Bomb Torizo. And optimally, you will see Sloaters shoot him with his beam 5 times and then hit him with 7 missiles. After the first 4, Bomb Torizo's chest will explode, and he has an extended duration of invulnerability. Oh, very unlucky missile drops there. And the next 3, assuming you got in your 5 beam shots, will take out the mini boss there. Kipp, with much better drops during the fight, pulls a slight lead. Look like Sloaters bonked the door there. Let's see if he can recover the Terminator. Very nicely done. Kipp with a very low missile count coming through the door. Okay, so I believe both of the runners today will be running the early Croc route, so they will be skipping Ice Beam until much later in the game, which means that their first stop after the item collection through here will be to Kraid. So Kipp has a lot more health than Sloaters, but they're not really going to need health for quite a while. They'll pick up a few more energy tanks before anything really dangerous comes up. Both players look like they got the waiver D boost off these super missiles, and then they're going to come back for the reserve tank and 2 missile packs. Here we see both runners going for the reverse mock ball, or the exit mock ball. Sloaters gets it, and Kipp unfortunately looked like he was a little bit too high there, so he's going to have to go around the room and double back for these missiles. Definitely bought a nice little lead for Sloaters there, but you know, I've heard he's done things in this tournament like missed the Kraid quick kill or skip Phantoon, so I'm not going to call this one for a very, very long time. Sloaters picking up his charge beam. 827 is a very good time for that. Nah, Poplars, you should always go for blue bombers. They're worth it. Sloaters making his way down Green Hills. Kipp is only about that full room behind him. So still only a handful of seconds between these guys. Sloaters going to pick up his Spazer Beam. Imagine we'll see the same move here from Kipp. There are plenty of times that you come through this room, but the first trip through is the least amount of time sink, because later I imagine we'll see both of the runners going for Alpha Spark, and then again at the end of the game to collect X-Ray Visor. And both of those times you're going to be moving really, really quickly, whereas the first time you don't have any items that really enhance your movement all that much. So there's not much time loss involved in picking up Spazer here. Sloater's heading into Kraid's area. Kipp's still merely 2.5 rooms behind. And you'll notice that neither of the players has picked up Power Bomb, so we'll see both of them come back to pick up the missiles in the room that Kipp's in now. And there's a handful of different times that you can do that at. We'll see if they land on the same time. Sloater setting up for the charge beam. Oh, looks like it missed. I'm gonna blame Spazer for that. That shot clearly connected. Very good recovery from Sloaters, but if he didn't have Spazer, that definitely would have been a first try quick kill. Kipp using the missile variant and taking Kraid out. No problem there. Seffy. Now both runners have picked up Varia suit, which offers a lot of good things. The damage reduction is nice, but what's really more important for this stage of the run is the suit nullifies damage from heated rooms, which you will see the runners progress through quite a few of in the next 10 to 15 minutes. Very nice mock ball from Sloaters there. Kipp following suit. Now we're going to see both runners head down to high jump boots, where they'll pick up an energy tank, a missile pack, and the high jump boots themselves. And I say there's a good chance that Kipp flashes some type of graphic on his screen. He's pretty big on high jump boots, so I've heard. All right, now we're going to see both runners go most of the way back up to the elevator, and they will start to traverse the heated rooms I talked about earlier. If you come down here with just the standard power suit, you will take damage every few frames. But with the Varia suit, as you can see, it allows you to move through freely with no extra damage. Sloater's remembering the missile pack here. Kipp doing the same. That was a very clean kill there. Even missiling the missile pack. Some new tech. Now I've got both the runners coming up to Bubble Mountain, where they will be picking up Speed Booster, Wave Beam, and 2 additional missile packs for right now. They will be back after they finish Lower Norfair to pick up a few more items. But this trip is very similar to any percent, but with the exception of picking up the missile packs. The first one you'll see here on Sloater screen, it is tucked away in the roof. And the second one is right before the jump to get to the room with Wave Beam in it. Very quick farm there from Kipp. That farm there is really not nearly as necessary in this category due to the large amount of missiles that you have in comparison. Because coming through here in like old route any percent, I believe you have 15 missiles at this point. And as you can see, the runners already have 40 here, I believe. Which allows you to conserve your supers because you have a lot of missiles in order to clear enemies that don't die to regular shots or open the red doors. Sloater's headed back to Bubble Mountain here. Gonna see him go down through the little tunnels on his way to Crocomire, who is guarding an energy tank, a pair of missile packs, and Grapple Beam. I know we see both runners using the charge method for this fight. That's honestly my preferred method too. With really crisp execution, I believe that missiles can be faster because you can get off more than one shot per round. But charge is something that you're pretty much always going to have for the fight. Sloaters with a nice speed ball there. Sloater's collecting his drops there about 10-12 seconds ahead of Kipp, so it's still a very, very close race so far. Now we're going to see Sloaters get his speed echoes for those speed blocks, and a very nice speed ball into the grapple room. And I imagine that we'll see both runners go for the Indiana Jones here strat, where you will grapple onto two of these guys in succession in order to make your way to this missile pack up here. There's a handful of different ways to get up here. But this is one of the quicker ones. Very nice D-boost there from Sloaters, getting all the way to the missile pack. Kipp, unfortunately, missing the mock ball there, but gets the same D-boost on the way over. If you can get a solid D-boost on the way in and the way out, it will typically have the lava in a place that allows you to just leave immediately and still get your speed echoes in time for a Shine Spark to get up the shaft there. Let's see both runners farm up a little bit. Sloater's really taking his time with some of these grapples to make sure he doesn't fall. Opening up a few seconds for Kipp to catch back up there. Very nice grapple swing execution there from him. Brought the lead down to mere seconds here. I've got Sloaters making his way back to Red Tower. So a couple more items to collect here, and then the fight with Phantoon. Sloaters with a nice Alpha Spark there, and Kipp looks like did not get his speed echoes in time. Both players getting through Red Tower. Sloaters with a nice ball boost there, which allows him to lay the power bomb as early as it can be laid and still clear out the blocks. Saves a little bit of time over the standard D boost there. Sloaters unfortunately laying a regular bomb there. Very, very minimal time loss. Kipp's still only about a room behind though. This is shaping up to be a very good race here. See a question in chat here. And 100% they will be picking up all of the major and minor items. So they will get all of the beam upgrades, all 14 energy tanks, all 4 reserve tanks, both of the suits, and the final ammo counts. Oh, Sloaters unfortunately falling in the moat there. They will wind up with 230 missiles, 50 super missiles, and 50 power bombs, as well as X-ray scope later on down the road. Oh, Sloaters unfortunately missing the spark there. Looks like Kipp gets to close in a couple more seconds. Saving the animals is not a requirement in 100%. And I imagine if the race is close enough at the end, we will not see it from either player. Sloater's throwing a super into the ceiling there, and a nice D-boost off of the ghost. Kipp's now going to turn off his, or Sloaters is now going to turn off his Spazer Beam. I know for older out any percent, he uses X Factors here, so I imagine should be a pretty quick fight. Hopefully from both of the runners here. Sloater's unfortunately missing 2 particles there. So that first X Factor, oh, he caught one on the back half. It's always interesting. Kipp with a nice hybrid setup there. Oh, and Sloater's just barely missing the super missile. Kipp finishing up with a quick 2-round, while it appears that Phantoon has disappeared on Sloaters. This X Factor, yep, that X Factor will take care of it. So Kipp with a slightly cleaner Phantoon fight has pulled into the lead. But it is about the same size as before. I don't think that the runners have been more than 15 seconds apart at any point in this run so far. All right, now we see Kipp heading into probably the most dangerous room in this run. The Spiky Room of Death, as it is so affectionately called. Those platforms, you can actually go through them simply by turning around. And if you wind up underneath one of the platforms while it's on its way down, you will take quite a bit of damage, and if you're not out of the way quick enough, you will typically get chain damage at least 2 or 3 times. And sadly at this point you only have 1 reserve tank, so even if it's full, you run the risk of dying as soon as your reserves trigger. Both players got the energy tank without any issues. Kipp headed back through the Spiky Room of Death. D-boost strategy there. Unfortunately got clipped by the platform. So there is a decent chance that he might have to refill at the ship if his execution through the attic and the reverse is not very, very crisp. Sloater's getting back through the Spiky Room of Death, no problem there. Kipp setting up for a spark. Clears all the enemies. Now he's going to open this door and track all the way back to the other side of the room, as there is a missile pack behind a handful of work robots here. Sloaters with a very nice attic strat there. And Kipp looks to be having about the same luck as I have had recently with these work robots. Let's see if Sloaters can get a couple clips, close up some of this gap. It looks like he's pushing the robot straight away. Yep. Neither runner seems interested in clipping through the robots. See Kipp again enjoying the fact that this is a 100% run, just firing quite a few missiles into any enemy unlucky enough to be in front of him. And he will be sparking up to this missile pack here. See if Sloaters goes for the jump or if he's sparking as well. Oh, Sloaters with a very nice jump, bringing the lead back to within a single item fanfare here. Like Sloaters was going for a D-boost there. Seems neither runner is going for the spark here. Sloaters looks like he might be trying to set up the... No, maybe he's just going to clear the wall now. Papas, are you talking about the jump up to the missile pack outside? I don't think that it's recent. It's been around for a while, but it's very, very quick timing. Whereas the spark will put you in the same place every time. A very slight misstep doing the jump method there can put you in a very bad spot. I'm interested to see if Sloaters' power bomb was low enough, because it looked like it triggered after he got knocked out by the spikes. Yep, we do have one layer of statue left, unfortunately. And it appears that Sloaters has brought the time difference down to about a half of fanfare. Maybe 3.5 seconds between the two runners here. All right, so I would say, wow, look at that sink. I would say that Kipp did a good enough job with health management here to be able to skip the ship refill. Let's see if he goes for it. He is. I think that's a good call. Unless something goes really, really bad in this room, he's going to be just fine. Man, this race is still very, very close. Sloaters with the nice D-boost out of the room. Setting up for the wrap-around shot here. Looks like Kipp having a little trouble setting it up. Kind of starting to think that maybe he got it and didn't hear it, but I wasn't. Oh no, there it is. All Alright, Sloaters did not fall down one side of the shaft here. That's always good. Kipp with a nice comfortable setup there to ensure that he does not fall down one side of the shaft. And we've got Sloaters back in Green Brinstar. Here he's going to go visit the Edicoons, as well as picking up energy tank, a super missile pack, and a power bomb pack in the next handful of rooms. Sloaters making his way through that room nicely. And that's about all that you're going to see of the Edicoons from his stream, I would imagine. He's going to pick up this power bomb pack and be on his way. As Kipp goes to pick up his super missiles. Now we're going to see the runners head back into Pink Brinstar to do a little cleanup before heading to Meridia, which I have to imagine that Sloaters is a fan of, because that means he's ever closer to his spring ball. Sloaters with a nice setup for Mission Impossible here. Gets it nice and smooth. If you can get the proper setup for that trick, it's really not very difficult. If you wind up in the correct spot during the fanfare, all you have to do is buffer right and jump, and then get a wall jump off before the crumble block closes on top of you. But again, we see the runners are still only a few rooms apart. Sloaters getting that super block out of the way. Kipp will be doing the same. Kipp making it look nice and easy there. But let's not forget that because Kipp did not go for the Mission Impossible, he still has to go back up to the room with the side hoppers to grab the energy tank. See Sloaters going to the area under charge to get his last energy tank from the area. Then I believe he'll be getting a missile pack from the Green Hills room, and then heading on his way to Meridia. Get a high five from our runners here as Kipp heads down to charge, and Sloaters is on his way to Green Hills. So a nice mock ball there from Sloaters. Ooh, very nice brick breaker there. Sloaters moving up to the second platform, where there's much more space to get your short charge up there. And he is off to pick up his Main Street missiles. Cheaty's got a very, very good point there. I can see little point to being fast if you're not swag. If your run doesn't look good, people don't care how fast it is. They're not going to watch it. Kipp, very nice. I believe that was second try to get the Main Street spark. And Sloaters, unfortunately, missing the energy tank there. So if Kipp can pull that strat off, it'll close this gap down a little bit more. Oh, Kipp unfortunately missing the missile pack there. We'll see Sloaters make his way up to the Crab Supers here. Sloaters headed up to the beach, and I think that this is a nice segment in Hundo because after he picks up these 3 items up here, he just gets to go any percent mode for quite a few minutes as he clears out Botwoon and Draygon. The only real difference there is that there is a pack of missiles in the room right before Draygon. But I think this is one of the longer segments where you're not routing differently because you're picking up all of the items. Oh, Sloaters going for some more swag there. Unfortunately, it looked like his jump was a little bit shy. And supering the crab. I haven't seen that before. I like that. Oh, and Kipp gets it. Sloaters has been one-upped in the swag department for right now. You see Sloaters entering the Botwoon room. So Kipp only 2 rooms behind. Nice X Factor there. Quick 6 super missiles and the fight is over. The Sloaters leaving Botwoon's room as Kipp enters. So this race is still very close. Kipp unfortunately missing the 1 round, but only by a little bit, still able to close out the fight rather quickly. Sloaters with a solid full halfie. Kipp looks in good shape for his as well. Unfortunately, a frame or 2 late on the activation. That trick has a very, very tight frame window. Seffi, get out of here with that. Alright, now we've got both of the runners preparing for the fight with Draygon. Sloaters with a solid opener there. I believe he got 3 of the particles. Very quick kill. Going for the spark suit there. Unfortunately not getting it, so he's just going to collect his items, or collect his drops, and then space jump. Kipp skipped the missiles before Draygon. Yeah, hopefully he'll pick them up on the way out. It's definitely optimal to get them on the way in, assuming that you get the blue suit that Kipp has here, because he can't run as he goes to pick up the missiles. Get those missiles after the game credits. Yeah, here we see Kipp picking up the missile pack. Ooh, Sloaters with a very tight speed echoes there. Oh, that's a very nice strat. I like that a lot. And it has the same setup as the blue bomber that I hope that he can pull off here. It's one of the tighter spring ball tricks in the run here. But for as much as Sloaters talks about spring ball, hopefully he'll get something more than just the blue bomber at the end during the escape. Kipp storing a Shine Spark. He's going to go ahead and pick up this missile and super missile pack on his first trip through. Alright, we've got Sloaters picking up Spring Ball as Kipp makes his way up to Shack Tool. Runner's still only 2 rooms apart, but I think that Shack Tool is one of the longer rooms in the run. But still very, very close. And there's still a lot of run left that can happen. There's 2 falls in Lower Norfair that can cost a good bit of time. Sloaters could skip a boss. No, he's proficient at that now. So it's definitely still anybody's race here. Kipp picking up his Spring Ball here. And Sloater's just 2 rooms away from picking up his Plasma Beam. Kipp really crushing the first 3 Spring Ball strats of the run. Very crisp execution there. Oh, a nice D-boost off the Poyo there. Kipp now picking up his Plasma Beam as Sloaters makes his way. That's an interesting spot he was in there. Alright. So here it is. Hopefully we'll get a good attempt. Unfortunately missing the speed echoes there. Still gonna spark. Nothing to it there. And after Sloaters picks up these 2 items, the 2 runners will be back on the same route. So we'll get a better idea of how far apart they are here. Because you'll remember that Kipp actually grabbed both of those packs there on his first trip through the aqueduct. Yeah, Yuppie makes a very good point there. As a commentator trying to track the map completion for multiple runners is very taxing. Whereas 100% items, you can kind of fudge it because the game tells you at the end if you got it or not. All right, Sloaters making his way over to Ice Beam. It's an interesting spring ball there at the end. And using it to run through that room rather quickly. He's picking up his Ice Beam just under 56 minutes into the run. Very good time so far. And it looks like Kipp is actually going to head to Kraid's lair beforehand, which is not going to help me figure out how far apart they are. So Sloaters will have to pick up that missile pack on the way to the end of the game. So basically, once he clears out Ridley and picks up the rest of the items in Norfair, he'll have to make this backtrack that Kipp is doing. Door transitions depend on if they have to be recentered or not. But I would say I believe the average is around 3.5 seconds, if I'm not mistaken. It's much longer than you realize when you're actually playing the game. That was one of my favorite stats to see at the end of the randomizer matches, was how long the game spent aligning doors. Alright, so Kipp picking up his Ice Beam was probably about 1.5 minutes behind Sloaters, but obviously he has already picked up the Kraid missiles. So I would say that they're still close. I feel barring an execution issue going back for that missile pack, Sloaters has a lead of about 15 to 20 seconds as of at Ice Beam. Sloaters not taking the fall where I fell against him in our race. Using the power bomb to clear out those blocks so we can go grab his supers as soon as the fight's done. Made quick work of him. And to my knowledge, has picked up all of the items he has come across, with the exception of the Kraid missiles, which again I'm sure we'll see him go back for as soon as he finishes up Norfair. Sloaters picking up Screw Attack as Kipp begins to drain the lava before the Golden Torizo fight. And we are now arriving at the 1 hour mark. And honestly, this is really good pace. My PB is a good bit behind the two of them, but they are a good 1.5 minutes ahead of where I would be. So I'd say that we're definitely still looking at very low 120s from both runners currently. I actually feel that Super Metroid with no door transitions would be very, very difficult. One of the things that makes this game playable as much as it is the fact that after every room, you get a couple of seconds to evaluate what just happened and prepare for what's happening next. Obviously, the speed run would go from where it's at now. It would probably drop 6-7 minutes. But you would get no input breaks outside of bowling and G4 and the baby scene at the end. And that would make for a very, very brutal speed run. It would be far more interesting to watch, but I believe I would stop running it at that point. That's a little bit above me. Alright, we got Sloaters moving into his Ridley fight, using Screw Attack to just jump through him. Screw Attack will give you invulnerability frames that allow you to pass through any part of Ridley other than his tail. This is a very, very interesting thing to watch there because it's a very tight window. Sloaters finishing up Ridley. Nice and easy. So this is good news because it appears that Sloaters has remembered to fight every boss in the game. Unless he somehow misses Mother Brain. I'm not really sure how he would do that. So as I mentioned before, as far as I can tell, both runners have collected all of the items that they intended to collect. And there's just a little bit of cleanup left before we head for G4 in the end of the game. Alright, Kipp getting through his Ridley fight. No real issues there. We're going to see him pick up the energy tank and make his way out of Norfair. It's still really hard to tell, but I feel that Kipp has made up a little bit of time here. He seems closer than he was. And Sloaters still has to backtrack for that missile pack at Kraid. Kipp almost getting the reverse flower house there. I think that jump was a couple of frames late from Sloaters. Yep. All right. Sloaters has one more item to pick up here at the bottom of this next area. It's going to be a block that he can take out for the last missile pack in Lower Norfair. And then he will be he'll be making his way back to the Bubble Mountain area to finish all of the Norfair cleanup. Thank you, Sephi. Thank you. Here we see Kipp making his way through this area. He's gonna go and grab his missile pack and power bombs. Right, we've got Sloaters headed back out to Bubble Mountain. He's gonna drop down the left side of this room and lay a power bomb, and then head back over to the right side to pick up the last item in Norfair. It's gonna be the missile pack at the bottom of this area here. Nice D-boost to get over as Kipp makes his way out of Lower Norfair. Yeah, I think these races are very, very close at this point. Alright, now here we should see Sloaters heading to the right and giving us an accurate idea of the distance between the two runners. Both players have to pick up a single item. Sloaters has a few door transitions versus Kipp's elevator transition, so it's safe to say that Sloaters is still in the lead. But this will give us a much better idea of by how much. Yes, Spring Ball does go higher with high jump boots. Very, very nice mock ball there from Sloaters. Coming through that door at 108.52. Sloater's going to be there not too terribly far behind. $109.19. It's right around 25 seconds. Assuming I can still do math. I'm pretty sleep deprived at this point. But at this point in the run, to still be within 30 seconds, this is very, very nice. Very good race. Clean runs from both players. Get another high five here from the runners. Kipp goes to grab his X-ray, and Sloaters is preparing for his reverse slinky attempt. Well, looks like he's setting it up and misses the door, unfortunately. Looks like the power bomb he laid earlier did do its job in opening this door. Unfortunately, getting popped by the side hopper there. Little extra spring ball there. Because why not? Kipp looks like he's got a good setup there, but I don't think he even goes for it. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point, Toasty. That wraparound shot really one of the only mistakes that I've seen out of either of these runners. They've been playing very, very well. And I have lost to both of them, Sloaters in the first round of this tournament and Kipp in, I believe, the second round of the last tournament. And they're both very, very talented players. And to see him be this close, this far into a run is very exciting. Sloaters with a very nice speedball exit there. And according to Sephi, Sloaters is going to finish this run with a 122. So we'll see how accurate that is. See if it applies to the race scenario. Sloaters headed back to the climb as Kipp makes his way up the elevator. Both players got a nice spark here. Sloaters with a very good strat there. Man, looks like Kipp pulls it off too. It's a very nice strat to have in your arsenal, especially when you're this close, this far into a game, into a race. Kipp with a swag little spring ball jump there. Sloaters has picked up his last item as Kipp is moving in to collect his. Very, very nice mock ball there from Kipp. That is a very tight window for that one. Sloaters working on his bomb jumping here. It looks like both players will be in G4 at the same time. Yeah, there's a handful of things left in the run that can gain or lose a good number of seconds, but the The most obvious one here is Baby Skip. I feel that both of these players are going to have very crisp execution on the Metroid rooms. Sloater's taking his, or Kipp rather, taking his menu out of the way. Imagine Sloaters did the same thing. No, Sloater still has screw attack. So I imagine we'll be seeing a speed booster Zeb Skip from him. Alright, now we've got Sloaters coming up on his Baby Skip attempt. As Kipp Super Zarinka. Very nice, very nice. Sloaters with a good setup, and it looks like he's through the door. As Kipp begins to set up for his attempt at the Baby Skip. Kipp with the nice setup there. And a slightly faster Baby Skip than Sloaters. I think that was one less jump. And he also did not take out the side hopper on the ceiling, which creates a ton of lag. So Kipp probably pulling in about 4 or 5 seconds there. See neither player going for a save. I really like the safety saves, but in a scenario where you're this close to your opponent, I think it's better to just hash it out. And that's one of the really dangerous things here. Both of these runners have done this so many times that it's really easy to come through and have great execution, but it's also really easy to slip up and have a slight mental mistake that can cost you a good run. But we're going to have both players on Mother Brain 2. Got Sloaters into the catch-up phase, so his fight is done now. He's going to damage himself down to 6 E-tanks, or 7 E-tanks. Oh, wow. As Kipp begins his Mother Brain 2 fight. Sloaters picking up double damage there, going down to 47. He's got plenty left in the reserves, so his stand-up is squared away. Kipp is damaging himself down for his. Both players with a nice setup for stand-up here. Right, Sloaters finishing up his stand-up glitch as Kipp gets his underway. Yeah, this actually very well probably the closest 100% race in the tournament so far. But surely Sloaters is feeling good enough to give us another Blue Bomber attempt. Slaughter's beginning his escape sequence. Is Kipp gonna finish up the mother brain fight? I believe it was 4 shots from both runners. Very good stand-ups. Uh-oh. Flashbacks for Sloaters, maybe. Oh, and he catches the wall. And he's bailing on it. I can't fault him for that. As Kipp begins his escape. You know, Blue Bomber is really one of those strats. If you sit down and you practice it, it's really easy. And if you go for it in a run, it's really not anymore. It's a ton of fun. But here we got Sloaters coming up. I can't imagine there's any reason to go visit the animals. So he is through his last door. And Sloaters has finished the race in first place with a time of 1:22.29. And you've got Kipp here climbing up nice and steady. Maybe working on some ledge grabs there. GG to both the runners, man. Go follow these guys. This is an incredibly close time for a 100% race, as Southern Kipp has finished with an official SRL time of 1:22.44. Thanks everybody for hanging out. It's been a great race. And Sloaters with the birthday again. Thank you, man. Thank you, Sloaters. It was an awesome birthday present to get to do this. I'm sorry, my brother couldn't stick it out, but 100% is a long category, and he's leaving for work in like 5 hours, so I can't blame him. But again, GG to both of the runners. It was very exciting to watch, especially with the really tiny route divergences that made it really hard. I felt like I was playing guessing games the whole time. Like, how close are they actually? Because Kipp already got these items and Sloaters didn't. And it was really fun to watch. And I hope everybody enjoyed it. It's been a lot of fun.